Hey, this is Sally from the Egoscue Method Atlanta, and I'm here with Chris today and with Help in the Real World, and we are going to talk about Egoscue. And that's all pertaining to your posture and how it's related to your pain and your sports performance.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
The Health in the Real World podcast is sponsored by...
Whenever I feel pain or experience limitation in my body, I always ask why. And that's the same approach I take with my clients. There's always a reason why you have joint pain. So once you correct the why, you can correct the symptom. At Egoscue, we correct the root cause of the problem. As a result, our solutions achieve success effectively, permanently, and in many cases quickly. Feel better, live better, and move better with Egoscue.
Hello and welcome. I'm Chris Janke of Health in the Real World. I'm here today with Sally Murray. Sally, how you doing today?
Good. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing really well, thanks. Sally, you are with Egoscue Atlanta. I'm very familiar with Egoscue, but a lot of people aren't. Like we said, it's like the best kept secret. What is Egoscue? How long have you been in it? And just give kind of a little bit of a background about Egoscue.
Okay, yeah, of course. So Egoscue is our founder's last name. So his name is Pete Egoscue. So that's where the name actually roots from. We just hit our 50-year mark this year. So it's been around for 50 years. It's basically the world leader in non-medical pain relief. I've been with Egoscue for almost 20 years. So I found it through my own journey of pain relief and helping other people, guide them in the right direction. And it's just so rewarding to give people the tools that they need to, get rid of physical limitations. So, Pete Egoscue has quite a story. He has a ton of books on this method and kind of where it rooted from. And it's been an honor to be able to help people to, get them to their next level of life.
Right, and it's really. I always try to put myself in the position of somebody who's never heard of any of this, and it's really. What it looks like from the outside is gentle exercises, stretches, but it's calculated in a way that's based on your posture and how you move specifically.
Yeah, so basically to kind of dive deeper into that is very specific driven. So it's all about your body, right? We all have one. So, and it's beautifully created with such purpose. So if somebody has a misalignment, it's for a certain reason. And how this method has come about is we want to treat the root cause. So if someone has a rotator cuff injury or a herniated disc or, just a bunion on their foot, we need to look at the body as a unit. So with this method, we look at the body together from head to toe. We don't treat symptoms, we treat the underlying cause. So we're basically trained through that to say, okay, what's not happening in this person's body? And whatever's not happening allows us to see what their true dysfunction is so we can go after that root. Therefore, it allows their pain or limitation or their compensations to start to go away and diminish. So it really gives the body the capability to do what it was made to do.
Exactly. So you kind of alluded to the fact that you started, I guess, as a client as well. Did you have chronic pain or what was happening with that with you?
Yeah, I actually started as an intern and I had dealt with headaches for many, many years and had gone to see all health professionals and they still couldn't figure it out. So when I interned, I was finishing up my, pre-physical therapy degree. And after about 6 weeks of therapy, my headache went away. And I was like, this is voodoo. Like, what is going on? But you just learn so much about your body, like where blood flow is not getting to, or how your body holds stress and what to do about it. There's more to it than just relax and breathe and try to get to a new space. That's very important, don't get me wrong. But if there's kind of detours that your structural integrity kind of has to start taking detours, it really starts to affect how you feel. So that was my personal experience. When my headaches went away, I fell in love with it. I saw that treating the root cause is way more beneficial than, pop an Advil every 8 hours,
Exactly. I think that's a good segue to And this is great, like having you here, because I've been talking about this for years and years and years. But the concept of the 8 load bearing joints, can you give a sort of a synopsis of that and what you're looking for in, like a, say, like a standing posture, for example?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, our design, our blueprint, there's 8 load bearing joints. So, you have 2 shoulders, 2 hips, 2 knees, and 2 ankles. So, if we have someone standing right in front of us head on, we're going to look and see, all right, are the hips level? Are the shoulders level? Are the knees at the same level horizontally? Or the feet pronated? Your mechanics and your joints, they can do all kind of things as they compensate over time. So when we look at someone's body, and you can go anywhere at a restaurant and see if someone's shoulders down, or their head's really forward. So we look at that and say, all right, cool, that's what's happening. Let me test their body and let me see why that's happening. So we take them through functional tests, just their body themselves, no extra machinery, to say, okay, this range of motion is locked here. Why is it? Let's address all the other joints to see how the pieces of the puzzle are not coming together. So it's very important that our load joints, those 8 ones left to right, are really lined up. So everything comes to alignment and postural based, to get the body function like we want it to.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the coolest concepts for me when I was going through Egoscue is just the concept of posture being automatic. And the analogy I use is, it is a lot like breathing. Like, until I said the word breathing, you weren't aware of your breath. Most likely, I wasn't. I was breathing. Obviously, I'm still alive, but
Mhm.
um, I wasn't thinking about it. Right? We can call attention to our posture. We can sit up straight. We can fake it, but that's not the point. The point is that you're you are creating sort of a muscle balance, and that muscle balance yields that postural position that you're talking about, those 8 load bearing joints that give us the visual evidence of balance or imbalance. And it's a fascinating system. I had my own story where I had chronic back pain as a teenager
Mm.
for 10 years, and chiropractor, massage. I have a couple, flare up stories, and then same thing. It was magic. The hands on the head test.
Yeah, hands behind head.
And so, for you guys who don't know this, so I walked in, my ankle hurt the day that I was walking in. Like, it was throbbing. It was like there was like a heat coming off of my left ankle.
Hmm.
And David Smith in San Francisco, um, Egoscue, San Francisco, he said, okay, well, walk across the room, walk back and forth, tell me about your ankle. And I'm like, oh man, it hurts like crazy. And he said, okay, just do this: hands behind the head, put your elbows back, now walk. And I was like, all right, what did you just do?
Mind blown, right? How are my shoulders
so,
affecting my ankles?
so that was proof to me that, oh wow, okay, so the posture of my upper back, my shoulders, is somehow, I had no idea, but is somehow affecting how my foot is striking the floor. It's and even to this day, I've been doing it since about as long as you, like 2005, that
Hmm.
time frame.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like magical to me. I'm like, I don't understand this. But
Yeah. But you made a good point earlier, like the breathing. Most of us don't know how we're breathing or if we're breathing
right.
effectively. Our posture does do that over time. We get out of position, we have injuries, we compensate, we're living our lives. We're not thinking about, am I standing up straight until someone says it? So, that's so powerful that you got to experience that. How in the world is bringing my hands back affecting my low joint on my foot? Because we're not really taught that all the time. So it's like I'm sure it was a moment for you to just kind of think about, like, well, why did that happen? Or is there really something I can do to fix my back or my neck just by changing my ankle position? Because that's a
Right.
little foreign to a lot of people.
Right.
When you think about, hey, you're one body, the old school, the ankle bone's connected to the knee bone. It's really true.
100% true. And that was, I think that was the logical next step. I think that's what David said to me next. Is he said, you're not going to walk around all day like this, obviously, but we need to get your back to naturally be in that position. Because again, it's like posture's not your aunt like poking you in the back, like, hey, sit up straight.
Yeah.
At the dinner table, posture is like the secret, or like the snapshot someone took of you and said, hey, look at you. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, I'm looking like my grandpa, or whatever it is, right? It's
Yeah.
like what you're doing when people aren't looking. So
hmm
yeah.
And that goes
So
to that, structural integrity. And the whole thing that Pete's done is let's retrain it. Every
yeah,
muscle in your body has a purpose. So why don't we take it back home to its purpose and how the muscles attach and how they do hold you up or when they do need to relax, to be functional. You can go from a rounded shoulder position, but then get out of it. If you're going to go throw a ball, that's functionality. Your joint can go in all types of positions. So correcting that and then muscle memory and the body getting used to that is crucial.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So Sally, we've kind of gone over some of the foundation of Egoscue and what you do and how you're related. And you and your husband you guys own the clinic in Atlanta. And then do you guys also do online, like do you guys do Zoom calls, therapy via Zoom, stuff like that as well, I'm imagining?
Yes, so we still do in person. We've been doing that for over 20 years in the Atlanta area. Been doing Zoom, FaceTime, Skype calls even before 2 years ago
Yeah,
began. But
nice.
yeah, most of our clientele is still digital. If people don't even want to fight Atlanta traffic, so we're just so thankful that we can be a resource for people where we don't have to tangibly be there right with them. So this is just a great avenue to help people in their own home and to get them to benefit from this type of therapy.
Nice. So what's the first step? Somebody says, okay, I think my aches and pains might be related to my posture, my function. I'm gonna call Sally. What's the next step? Like walk me through that.
Sure. So basically, the phone call, Zoom call, whatever that looks like, is getting to know that person. Obviously, they're becoming more aware of how their body's affecting them and how they feel. So we get to know them first, so they can get to know us as well, so they know what's at stake. And then we take them through a whole process of our posture analysis. So we take their postural photos and we put them in a system, in a grid system. So by the time we screen share, they can see how their posture looks based on how we're looking at it at those 8 major load joints we were talking about. So we really want it to be interactive for that person that calls. So we take their postural photos so they can see it and we talk about it together. We do a gait analysis just like you went through years ago to see how their body is actually moving through motion. We do functional tests, things like hanging and touch your toes or any kind of range of motion through the joints, and then we towel that together. So based on the posture, the standing posture, and the posture in the movement, and the posture in certain tests, that person gets to feel what's happening or not happening, and we get to give them a reason behind it to say, look, your pelvis isn't moving because of this, that, and the other. So it's very tied in and interactive as far as getting that person or that new client to feel how their body is moving or not moving. And then we lead them in the right direction of, okay, this is what we need to start doing about it. And we take them through corrective exercises that's very specific driven for them. So once we take them through the exercises, their posture should be immediately different. If their posture didn't change, their body didn't react well like we wanted it to. So we take post photos again, put them in the system so they can say, oh man, I feel different, but does my posture really change that fast? And it does. We can go from here to here pretty quick. And that gets into the process of, hey, when it changes and your body's in a better position, getting rid of pain, increasing more functionality, you give them a specific menu and they do that every single day to start retraining the process. And then after that, we start to see them on a weekly basis to really make sure the compensations that we take away are staying away and that they get true balance back in their body. So every appointment usually goes that way.
Right. That's a good way to put it. And one of the things I tell people, this kind of came up in my mind right now, is that your posture can and should change like that, and it's going to go right back to where it was eventually, maybe in a day, maybe in even a couple hours, because you're not training it over and over again. We're looking for, when people hit that plateau in their fitness plan, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
actually what we want to get them to, right? You want to get them to adapt so that sequence of exercises that you just gave them is so easy that it's already a part of them. And that's why they go back to you again. They say, okay, well, I'm good with these. Now I need that next step. So, and then you rehash the same thing, right? Look at the 8 load bearing joints. How are they moving at that next level? And then that next level, and then that next level. And then
Yeah.
over time, you know, the worst day when your posture and your function is good is better than the best day when you had back pain.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it is a process, it's definitely a
Yeah.
transformation process. And and you take something away from somebody's body compensation, you have to make sure you're giving something back so
Yeah.
the body can be stable. But you're exactly right. You get to that point and then you can just maintain it. It does become a lifestyle, as you
Yeah.
know, the work you've done, but you can live pain free and do what you want. It's well worth it.
Oh man, I mean, it's great. Like I remember back, like let's say early 2000s, if I would get on a plane ride and I would just get off, I'd be wrecked for 2 days, you
Hmm.
know. And I tell people now, because I think people want to know, like, okay, Chris, how good is your back really? Like, is it really 100? Are you really pain free? And I'll tell them, like, all right, I gotta be honest. Like, if I'm on a 8 hour plane ride, I don't feel good when I get off. Like my body just adapted to sitting in a little seat like this for 8 hours. I'm 6'1" and it's not comfortable. Like it's just not, right. I'll get off the plane, I don't feel good. But the difference is this, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of light exercises and I'm back to normal versus the 2 days that it was before. So it's not that it's a miracle pill that, like, okay, you did your exercises, you never have to do them again. Your body's constantly responding to the environment. So after a long work day, after a long flight, you're going to be, in need of some tune-ups, but it's a lot faster, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the good news is you have those tools, and your body craves motion. Like every system in the body is energized by motion. So, but you're right, we have to adapt all the time. You've heard this before. I'm sure maybe a lot of you guys have heard this before, but Pete always says the one constant thing in life is change. And if we can adapt to that, that's huge, because if we don't adapt, we get stuck. And some people get stuck for years, and it just
Right.
stinks. You're stuck and don't know your way out. So the good news is, if you do sit on a flight, you know your way out. So there's some confidence in that, and some inspiration or motivation that your body's capable of that.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So I want to go really big picture, Sally, like motivational talk. What, as far as like what sort of life advice you would give to people, bigger than health, bigger than wellness, but more like, you know, guiding principles, North Stars, things like that. Like you can turn into Tony Robbins for 2 minutes. What's your motivational speech for people to get the most out of their lives?
That's a great question. I'm not going to turn into Tony. I might scare people away. Out of character. But we all go through our own journey to figure these things out, like what does kind of give you that quality of life. And my advice would be to literally be present. We say that all the time, but are we really doing that? It is such a gift to be present. If we can take 5, 10, 20 minutes and just be, whether that's through prayer, whether that's through reading something that brings you peace, is well worth it. So I really think getting your mindset in a place where you can be at peace, whatever that looks like. It's going to be different for everybody, but being present, and moving, having great relationships with people. If your relationships are broken, try to find a way to fix it or mend it or move on. I think those are so powerful in how that affects our mind, body, and spirit. And just taking that time for yourself. It's not selfish. You were given this body, so let's take care of it so you can serve others optimally. And I think that's huge. And we all want to give, we all want to serve. So if we can take care of ourselves in that manner, it just helps everybody else as well as yourself.
Nice, absolutely. Sally, give us a website, social media. How can people get in touch with you, and then other programs that you guys might be doing?
Okay, yeah. So egoscue.atlanta.com. It's kind of easy peasy. If you want to see all of our other clinics, they're egoscue.com nationwide. We are on Instagram at Egoscue Atlanta, as well as Facebook, Egoscue of Atlanta. And Atlanta at Egoscue email. We get those all the time, every day. So you can reach us that way. We're real big on building community however we can. So we have platforms of doing fitness classes on Zoom, so people don't have to travel somewhere and be in a class. So we do fitness classes every week. So they can, anybody can join us doing those, just a 20-minute quick reset. And then, the one-on-one therapy is obviously just so powerful in getting your body to change. So those are the things we focus on right now and trying to help everybody we can.
Nice. Well, Sally, it's been great chatting with you. I know you and I went through the Egoscue training at I'm pretty sure at the same time. We might have even been in the same class. I don't know, but I do. Yeah, the first time you saw me, you're like, you look familiar. What's
I know
happening?
you. The universe brought us back together.
Right. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show, and best of luck to you and Calvin at your clinic. And I know, you've been doing it a long time. You guys are doing a great job. So thanks again for joining me today on Health in the Real World.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.